Tonight we are concluding our investigation into the Shadow People conspiracy. My name is Cdale, this is Markus, and you are listening to Fallen Hour Radio.
In 1957, strange sightings were reported by a few of the local townspeople in Emerson County. Then, in 1997, sightings of strange, shadowy beings were captured on video. Less than 2 miles from where the original sightings took place, a video camera was found by a local game hunter. No one has come forward to claim this footage.
We got you yet again with the pop-up. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're tuning into the podcast. My name is Cdale, this is Markus, and we are concluding our investigation into this man conspiracy.
Oh, blast!
Oh, wow.
Fast.
Into our Shadow People conspiracy, and it's got a little interesting. We've got some stories to tell you guys, as well as some new insights into the whole phenomena. What's your new take on this week, thinking about it over the past week?
Well, actually, I mean, I have been kind of reading up on it, and I just now that I've really kind of started to, look it up and research it. I'm starting to see a lot more stories about it. Even just today, I saw another one. Like somebody was asking people what can I do about this? She said her her 5-year-old, I think, daughter was was afraid to sleep in her room. And she finally told her 2 days ago that it was because she kept seeing a shadow figure standing in the doorway of her room every night with that, I guess, had no eyes.
Oh, scary.
Yeah, I know that part I was kind of creeped out about. And that just kind of got me just picturing that. And it turns out, I guess, the mom, the one after she was asking her kid about it, she said she saw the same thing a few times before too. And she drew it out, a picture, the daughter. And it's just kind of weird. I don't know, it's weird, there's a lot of stories like that out there. Actually, looking it up, there is a lot.
And getting into the realm of people posting their things online on YouTube, naming them spirits, demons, and things like that. I mean, when you see poltergeist activity inside a house, there are more likely what people would call now shadow people.
Yeah.
There was an old video that you brought up a long time about a video that came out a long time ago of this guy setting up a tripod against his dining room, and there was a demon.
That video, yeah.
That was flying all over the room.
It was after they were playing with the Ouija board.
Yeah. And it was flying all over the room, then it starts messing with the camera and speaking in Latin.
Ugly, yeah. The front door swings open, slams shut, the table starts, moving, and the chairs slide over, and you can hear footsteps and heavy breathing, and something sounds like it's speaking Old Latin, and he wasn't sure if it was somebody messing with him still, so he set his tripod up facing a mirror, and the same thing. You can hear the footsteps coming up, the breathing, the speaking some different language, and then the camera starts moving around, going crazy, and that one actually bothered me for a long time. Thank you for bringing that up.
We just saw that one a couple days ago.
I know, I didn't want to see it, and
we saw the thumbnail of it.
Yeah.
And
I don't like that video.
I mean, that was shot well over 10 years ago, and there was a guy
that was about 12 years ago when we first seen that.
Yeah.
I think.
And we were talking about, and we were looking at YouTube videos of people trying to debunk poltergeist activity, and it's almost impossible to fake poltergeist activity because you can see the fishing lines and things like that, even if you have hardcore editing.
Some guy was trying to show how hard it would be. Even he even tried wearing a green screen suit, and you could still see shadow and everything, even though he did the overlays and everything. You could still see some sign that it was faked, and he was basically showing that you can't fake that kind of stuff. It's really hard to fake that kind of stuff, especially when they're throwing things around and just.
We should do our own experiment and try to fake it.
You could try, but Yeah, he just kind of proved that, it's almost impossible.
I was watching this lady on YouTube, and she was talking about shadow people, and her take on it, because she was a clinical psychologist, and her take on it was more in the psychology realm. But she was saying this kind of goes along lines with the familiar spirits, like you were talking about in the last podcast. She says we all have a light side of us, which you see like flesh and bone, but there's also that person with you, but she named it as the shadow that we cast on the walls when we're walking. And she say we all have that side of us that casts that shadow. And she says that we keep our darker side of us there, but is that darker side that this is I'm not saying I believe what she's saying, but I'm saying that what she's talking about is that darker side which you would familiarize or which you would categorize as a familiar spirit.
I don't know.
Because like I talked about the last podcast, I know that demons they take on your personality totally, and they start mimicking your behavior when you die. Your
behavior, even your voice, just everything. Any little thing that people will familiarize you with, they mimic that to basically kind of bother other people. Like, just taunt them and stuff like that. They'll just pretend that they're you. And it's just, it does. Like, some people still believe, like, oh, this person visited me, or, oh, I saw this person, and so, like, just that's it does. It seems wrong. Like, some of those people, I know people like that believe that are watching, they'll probably get offended by that. But that's what I believe. It's just it's a familiar spirit,
because it comes down to them holding on to that lost loved one.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the only thing that would offend someone, going out there and saying that I don't believe that this thing that you're experiencing is your lost loved one.
Yeah.
I mean, you see Hollywood even take the spin on this, of people thinking it's their lost loved one, and then they start getting involved into Ouija boards and ghost writings and things like that, and it opens up a bigger doorway that they can't close.
Yeah. And like, it even opens up the door for other things to get through, like things that could be worse. And I remember even hearing a story from someone that they thought that, this person visited me, this person, came by, and, stuff like that. And then it started getting darker. Like, it started getting more sinister and evil, like even started like kind of attacking that person. And that goes to show that that's not that person. It's this familiar spirit or demon that's kind of basically easing its way in. That's what I think.
It's proven time and time again. I mean, people who open up those doorways and even allow this activity to happen inside their home, and they take it with them even when they're sleeping. Yeah. Nightmares and things like that. If you're having nightmares, I don't believe that's a really good thing for you.
Yeah.
And that's a form of basically torment. That could be basically a form of torment with that thing living inside your house.
Could be kind of casting those dreams on you, or having that effect on you.
Because I know that in the spiritual side of things, that everything happens in our mind. I mean, that's where basically the devil plays. And that's where most spiritual warfare is handled. It's inside your mind.
Yeah, inside your mind, even when you're sleeping.
And that's the thing. I mean, when these things are entering inside your house and you're experiencing a demonic attack, I mean, it attacks your thoughts and dreams, and then you start to really wonder, like, is this thing good or bad? And people who are experiencing those things, like a lost loved one, and if you're also experiencing things like nightmares, troubles in your finances, things like that, feeling sick and getting sick. I mean, not everything that has to do with the human body, like every sickness, is attributed to something evil. But if there are things in your house that happen like this, and you're allowing these things in your house, and you're also experiencing sickness and things like that, then it could be demonic.
Yeah. I remember, I'll give you a story, like an actual personal story, not somebody else. Like the last podcast, I was telling you stories of people that are really close to me. But this one actually happened to me. And this literally goes along the lines with this whole thing, like, you know, this whole shadow people, demonic type, you know, subject. When you know, before I got married, we moved into an apartment, and you know, we were there for a while, and you know, little things, you know, I kind of ignored, and you know, I just little things here and there. But there was one day where it was just visible. It was really bad. I was home, and she went to work. You know, she went to work, and she was at work for a couple hours, and my little girl was just barely walking and stuff around that time, and the other one was, you know, still, you know, like a potato, just couldn't do anything, still really young. And we were watching TV, and the way the living room was set up, you know, I had two recliners. I was sitting in one, and to my left side there was a big doorway, and there was a long hall. You know, there's or not a long hall, a short hall, but there's no windows in that hall, so it was always dark, always really dark. And you know, there was the bedroom to the right in the hallway, and you know, my girl's bedroom to the left, you know, and the bathroom was on the left side too. But there was that doorway there, and it was always kind of dark. And I had my bedroom door open, and we were watching TV, and while I was staring at the TV on my left side, I saw somebody just walk from my room right across that doorway.
Creepy.
Just full figure. You could just see in my peripheral vision, just walk by really slow, and I just got the chills, man. Like, just literally my body went cold. And for a second I thought, you know, okay, maybe it was just me, maybe it was just, you know, my mind messing with me. And I looked down at my girl, and she started looking around the corner like she just saw something walk across. Weird. She started peeking over that way, and her eyes were kind of big, and then she just started walking toward me really quick like she was scared. And you know, I picked her up for a minute, and I was like, okay. And I put her down, you know, I sat her on the chair, and I walked over to, you know, kind of to go look around that corner, and I thought I heard noises in the bathroom. And when I walked to the bathroom door, the doorknob wasn't, you know, really stiff. It was like kind of those loose fitting ones. Yeah. The doorknob started jiggling and shaking by itself.
Creepy.
Like, I was standing there watching the doorknob shake and jiggle and move, and we were the only people home. And right there I was like, okay, I'm not gonna deal with this right now. I got them ready. You know, I called my dad up. You know, we only had one car at the time. I called him up. I was like, hey, you mind come picking me up? You know, just hang out at your place for a while. And we waited outside. I was like, I'm not sitting in this house, man. I'm going to wait outside. And I remember sitting at the bottom of the steps waiting. You know, he came and picked us up, and I called Grandma. You know, had her come over with me. You know, she prayed over the whole house and everything, and then it stopped. That was it. And nothing ever bothered us again. But that was like one of the most real experiences I had with this kind of thing. Just seeing a full figured, but it wasn't shadow-like. It wasn't anything like that. It looked like a person just walking right next to me, literally 4 feet away from me.
That's creepy.
And I completely forgot about that till we brought this subject up, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot. No, that was like one of the creepiest things that ever happened to me. But
I don't know if I had a total experience unless it was in my dreams. But I remember, and I don't even know if I talk about this, because usually when I talk about this back then, things would start happening. But
yeah,
I probably won't talk about it.
I could tell you another one.
Go ahead.
I don't. Okay, so I used to stay in the apartment he's staying in right now, and that's where this one happened in.
Where we're filming this right now.
It was the master bedroom. You know, you're the one you're sleeping in now. Yeah. We had the bed set up the same way, and I was sleeping on the side closest to the door. You know, like if I'm laying here, the door's over there in that corner, And I remember waking up, like, I wasn't sure. This is the part that bothered me, because I opened my eyes and I wasn't moving. It was dead silent, and there was just all I could see was the silhouette of a person standing in that doorway, and there was barely a light behind him. So all I could see was the figure, barely any outlines of clothing. And I remember sitting there staring for about 15 seconds straight, not blinking. I was afraid to move. I was thinking, this isn't the person. I didn't hear anybody come in. Everything was deadbolted and locked. And I closed my eyes, for like 5 seconds, and I opened them, and there was nothing there. And the thing that bothered me was I wasn't sure if I was dreaming or not. I was like, because I was still laying in that same position.
Yeah.
On my back, just staring down toward the doorway. So I wasn't sure if that was real or if that was a dream. Even to this day, I still think that thing was standing in my freaking doorway, man. But that story I just told you about that little girl.
Yeah.
Always seeing this figure standing in her doorway. Once I read that's automatically brought that memory back. So I was like, oh my god. Thank God, like, none of that stuff happened for years now. But for a while, it happened.
It's just creepy. I mean, people put up with it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear stories left and right. I mean, I remember growing up with one of my best friends, and he would always have stories like this too. My dad just told us a story, and I think
he didn't tell me that one. Like, I remember you saying that he told you a story.
So he said this had to have been in like 70s, 80s maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He was little, or so probably little.
80s, he wasn't that little, because
it was probably. He said it was a long time ago.
I was like, wait a minute.
I'm not good at dating crap.
It's like I was born in 87. He could have been that little.
So he was a little kid, and he was playing outside with his friends and his relatives, and they decided to play hide and go seek. And they're playing for a while, but mid-game, they had a figure playing hide and go seek with them.
That's ugly.
And it was little. It was small. And they said that they kept seeing it peek around like a pole or a corner, and they all got scared and they ran inside because this thing was running with them and interacting. And my dad's uncle, I believe, or his grandfather, he goes out there, and I mean, if you guys don't know, like, a lot of Native Americans actually are more in touch with this sort of
kind of a
spiritual person. And he goes out there, and he actually walks up on this shadow person and starts speaking with it. And they're watching him speak with the shadow person that's standing there interacting with their grandfather or their uncle.
Wow.
And the grandfather tells him to leave and not come back, and when he says that thing takes off. And they haven't seen it since that day.
Wow, that's crazy. That just I don't remember if you were there when we were sitting outside the house we used to live in.
I remember being there.
You weren't outside though, weren't you?
No.
That just reminded me of another story. We were actually sitting outside the house that we used to live in, a couple of years ago. Maybe, what was that, 12 years ago?
It might have been around 6 years ago, because we moved here maybe about 12 years ago.
No, it was maybe 10 years ago then. Around 10 years ago, we were sitting outside this house on the porch, and yeah, like in a Native American culture, they have there's this. I remember hearing this story, like, you're not supposed to whistle at night, and I remember we were talking about that at the time. This was around 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I remember asking that question, asking my cousin why is that. And he said, because you'll be calling something to you, something bad. And my older brother, is kind of a knucklehead sometimes.
He
whistled, he whistled, and in the distance we heard a whistle back, and he thought maybe it was a person. He whistles again, and it comes to the left of us. And then we hear it again to the right of us. And when we looked right, we can see a shadow figure kind of peeking around a tree, and we thought maybe it was a person. None of us looked away from this thing. There was about 4 or 5 of us standing outside, and I remember we were watching this thing. It would peek around the corner, and when it would go behind the tree, you'd hear that whistle again, coming from that person. And then after it would hide behind the tree, it would peek out even closer behind something else. Like it was moving forward closer to us, but we weren't seeing it move toward us.
Creepy.
So it'd be peeking around a tree, and it would go back. You hear it whistle, and then it would peek around behind a pole. Like how wide like a street light pole
Yeah,
is.
small.
They're not that wide. We saw something start peeking out behind that, and I remember one of the people that was standing with us, he got spooked. And he stood up. He's, I'm going inside. And my cousin told him, sit down. You're not supposed to run from these things. Don't run. That you're showing a sign of fear, and it's probably gonna start messing with you.
Yeah.
It'll see fear in you, and it's gonna think, I want to torment that person. So he stood there. He had to stand there and watch this thing with us
while he's scared.
Yeah, it peeked around the pole and went behind the pole, and then we saw it across the street peek around the trees, and it was like moving closer and closer to us.
And then by our old apartment building too.
Yeah, and then at one point we heard the whistle come across the street, and it peeked around behind an apartment complex. So it was getting closer and closer. But after it did that, after it peeked around behind the apartment complex, it stopped, and then we heard the whistle further away, like it was moving away.
Weird.
So once we started talking about this stuff, all these stories started coming up again. Like, oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that, or this happened. But that's for the longest time, I never understood why you were supposed to whistle at night.
Me neither.
You'd always hear that around here, like in a Native American culture.
And that's one of the things we wanted to do the Urban Legend series with Zach and Kasani Art, the Faraway, and start diving into those urban legends, because growing up to where we've grown up, we hear all these urban legends, but no one really tells you why you can't do certain things. You can't look out windows. You can't.
You're not supposed to look out windows.
And I
at
heard
night.
one, you can't even eat grease outside at night.
I haven't heard that one before.
And things of that nature, and no one tells you why.
So many rules, man.
Until it happens. And
I know. But now I understand. Don't whistle because you're going to call a shadow person. That's what it seems like it was.
Do you think, does that do it for us?
Yeah, I think
Did that
that's...
thing end?
No, it's just...
Okay.
You just can't see it moving.
Do it for you?
Yeah.
Well, this has been Shadow People. My name is Cdale. This is Markus. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. You guys can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/fallenhour, where you can watch our videos, and you guys can find us on, for the people watching at home, you guys can find our podcast on the go at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Podbean. Just look for us out on whatever podcasting app you have, and you can look for us at Fallen Hour Radio. That being said, you're listening to Fallen Hour Radio. See you guys next time. Next Thursday, 7 o'clock.